This is the second video that's going to talk about adding in effects and doing various things with it. So far we've done kind of some editing, kind of splicing and putting it together. I'll show you what other options we have here. If I go back to the start here, push these two circles closer together just to zoom in. I have a look at this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it off by adding a blur. What you're going to see is you've got an effects panel. If you open that up, you've got a whole lot of options here. You can type something in and it'll come up with a whole list of options, where you can just pop these things open so you can see some presets. Lumetri is color work, audio effects, audio transitions, video effects and video transitions. So for a start, we'll go for effects. So I'm going to go blur, and I'm just going to bring in Gaussian blur. I can bring it in, click and holding it down and drop it on that first element. Now you're going to see it come up here, Gaussian blur and the effects. You've got a little thing here. If I can just push it open a wee bit, this is going to be for your keyframing. So what I can do is I can say, okay, when it starts off, and we can see it happening over here, it's going to be really blurry. This little stopwatch adds the first keyframe. So as soon as I click it, you can see a little keyframe come in here. Now if I move the playhead a bit, you'll see it moving up here as well. I can bring it along. So I'm going to say here, it's going to still be 108. Now if I click the triangle, it's going to make another keyframe. So between here, the blur just stays the same. Now, when I come here, and I push it back down to 0. So between these two keyframes, it's going from 108 gradually down to 0. So what you're going to see is you're going to see it fade off, and you can see it as I preview there. It's a certain blur, and when it gets to here, it's going to start to reduce down to 0. Okay, so we can see the whole thing. Hit spacebar. There we go. Now with this, I'm going to push this down a wee bit just so I can see this kind of wave pattern a wee bit more. And I'll come down here. I think this is where I've got nothing. So I'm going to just play. Okay. So I can see a beat comes in on this one here. It's like a clap. So I'm going to come back here, and again I'm going to add in I can add in a blur. So I'll do a blur for this one. Drop it in there. This keyframe, and then I'm going to go okay, keyframe, and in this case I'm going to go really blurry. It shall go 200. Now if I zoom in to this area down here, if I zoom right in, then I can move it one frame back. I've zoomed right in, so it does it. And this one, I'm going to take it down to 0. So within one frame, it jumps from 0 up to 200. So it's just a boom kind of blur. And you come on the other side here. I want to keep the same number, so I'll hit that triangle. move 1 frame forward, and I'll hit 0. See how it goes. Okay, I want it to be a bit faster than that. So again, zoom in. Actually, it's probably this one that I want to zoom in on a bit. So I'm going to grab these 2 keyframes and I'm going to move them a bit closer together. Good, but maybe one more move in closer together because I just want it to be a kind of a flash or a flicker. That's it. And maybe with this one, I'll go just a little bit further on. And I'm going to do a keyframe again. So again, it's on 0, so I'll keep that. Oops, I'll hit that triangle. I'll move it 1 frame forward, and I'm going to give it a softer blur, not a really big one. And then let's go to here, and again, keyframe it at 33, move it 1 keyframe forward, and back to 0. You can see a tiny little flicker afterwards. So there's our big bang, then a little flicker afterwards. So I'll play a bit more. Okay, so this bit where we've had that long bit with the voice. You can hear that's the voice going out. So I'm going to go for this bit here. So where that is, usually I'll go like a step back. The visual hits a split second before the audio. Get the razor blade, click, and I'm just going to zoom in on this, and I'm going to do kind of 2 frames. 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'm just clicking on that line with the razor blade. 2. This time, instead of using keyframes, I'm just splitting up these frames. So if I go to this first one here, I'm just going to go to motion, and I'm going to go, okay, let's scale it. I have to be over that frame though to see what's happening. So let's go 200. And position it. Scroll out a bit so I can see the size. So I'm going to jump to that. 200 goes back to 100. This frame here, let's say 200 again, but this time I'm going to change the position, so we'll take her legs out. And actually, let's see if we can move it there again, back to normal, and one last one. We'll make it 300 this time, and so now I'm kind of looking more at the reflection. So maybe I'll put the mirror line right through the middle and then back to normal. So let's see how it looks. All of these things here. So okay, if we want to get the ripple tool, we can modify where bits come in, so kind of change the dynamic, or we can just push that a bit, get the one before it, make it a bit longer. So we've got that boom boom, and then a little bit longer of a flicker. Okay, one more here is if I go to the new layer icon down the bottom here, I've got an option called an adjustment layer. Yeah, it comes up with the same size and frame rate. Adjustment layer. I'll check it on here. So adjustment layer in this case is just kind of a blank layer. But what I can do is I can add filters and things to that blank layer. So when it comes to the color ones, I've got an option here that says let's go cinematic. I'll just pull it open a wee bit further so I can see it. So we've got all these different color specs. This is the one I want. Under speed locks there's one that says universal, and so I think in here there's some that are called noir. So I'm going to go for this one. I'll chuck it on here, and so it's a black and white one, and what you'll see is it comes up here. If I close motion, you'll see it here. So you've got all the correction and the colors. You've got the curves where you can change it a wee bit more. Basic correction. I'm not going to mess with that too much. And see what happens if I switch it on or off. Yeah, the way that it changes things. You've got under light, you've got contrast and exposure, so you can modify everything here. And what I can do with this adjustment layer is I can have it start off black and white, and then when it gets here I can change it to color. Sometimes you'll have something under Lumetri where you can kind of change the keyframes and everything. Probably in this case the easiest way to do it will be to change the opacity. So at the moment it's on 100%, so I'll click it there, and then as it comes through, so I'll go to this bit where it flicks to a big frame. I'll put it on 0. Okay, if I make an adjustment, it automatically puts in a keyframe. So let's have a look now. Black and white. And then color fades in. So the last bit that you can kind of classify with the effects, I'll just take that back a bit. So you can add in layer after layer. You can add in more layers. But with this, I'm going to get the playhead here, and actually what I'll do is I'll bring in another video. Might be easier. Double click here, clips, I need close-ups. Yeah, let's go with this one. Cool. So we can bring this in. All of these effects don't have to be added to an adjustment layer. If you want to change the color on this, you can just add it directly to this rather than an adjustment layer. But the one thing we haven't looked at here is video transitions. So we've got dissolve, iris, all sorts of bits and pieces, slide, wipes. Let's go with okay, don't know some of these ones, so I'll go for flicker impact, so I'll chuck that in here. Let's have a look. Okay, so this is where you do your dissolves and all that sort of stuff. When you click on it, you'll have a whole lot of bits and pieces that come up here. So actually, maybe I will put cross dissolve. It's a bit of a classic. Let's see how it looks. So when I click on it, you can see, you can just physically make that dissolve longer or shorter. It's going to change up here. So the duration at the moment looks like it's just over a second. Yeah, there's probably not too much more to a dissolve. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm going to go to this bit here where they're starting to move. Cut it, and I'm just going to wind it back a bit. So this one, no dissolve. Just push it together. Let's have a look. Dissolve and then a cut. So lots of stuff to play with.